I am Feel It.
And I am Fix It. And we talk about life.
And stuff and things.
With the occasional rant.
Which you will have no problem doing.
Hello. Good morning. Good afternoon, good evening, good night. Wherever you are, whatever it is, we hope you're having a good one.
Absolutely.
Okay, all right.
And I tried and I got that out.
And there we are, yes. Yeah, apparently we're both in a mood. It's okay.
I don't know, man.
Yep.
It's coming and going.
Yep.
I had energy, now it's gone.
Yeah, well, good thing we're sitting down. If we were doing this on a treadmill, it would definitely be trying.
I don't know, I think I've been pretty productive.
Yeah. Yeah. We
more than I've been able to do in a month and a half.
Yep. Doing some prep work because we're going out of town.
We are.
Yep.
Yep.
Good times.
Planning, thinking, and one way or the other we're going, and it's going to be great. It's going to be fine, but
yep.
Trying to see, this is when you have my issues, right? It never gets easier necessarily to have to think about all the things, but in essence, for me to be able to eat, I have to have proper nourishment, which I am told is important. And Monday is my 5-year anniversary of making the choice to continue to consider that important. Yeah. So, and I know if I hadn't made that choice, I sure wouldn't have come through as good as I have.
No, this is true.
So,
you have
3 significant abdominal surgeries later and multiple procedures, a few of those serious. And,
yep, and still kicking.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it. In fact, Monday is my 6-week post-op for the partial hysterectomy. And I know I've done a few things in the last couple of days without quote clearance that I probably shouldn't have, but yeah, at the office, it's not always convenient to wait for one of the guys to change the water bottle.
Yep.
And I thought about rolling it down the hall, but I was like, no, I think I can pick this up. I'm feeling okay today. Did I feel okay after? Not as bad as I could have.
Well, yeah,
and I remember you saying they were like 40 pounds or something.
40 pounds.
So I thought, okay, yeah, I'm not supposed to live more than 25, but it's only 15 more. And it was just a little ways. It wasn't bad. And then I had to help you lift that cabinet out of the car. And like, I've done little things. I've been okay. I did not push myself last weekend at my aunt's. I have really behaved myself this time compared to others. And I'm starting to get twitchy. Like really twitchy.
Understandable.
So, I mean, I think everything's going okay. I've had a couple things where I've thought, all right, I'm going to address this with the doctor just to make sure. I don't know if they're normal or not, but overall, I think I'm doing all right. So, trying to be productive today because next weekend we'll be taking off.
Yep.
And during the week, we don't exactly have the opportunity to be able to handle a lot. And in fact, next Friday, we may be helping my aunt unpack down here. So that was a good trip last weekend and as productive as it could be. It was. Yeah, just trying to enjoy the decent weather, and
it has been nice.
Beginning of fall, where it feels like summer. I wish the summer had been this nice, actually, because the humidity was just gross.
It's days that definitely. Okay, it was weeks that were pretty bad.
Our electric bill here, our home was atrocious, and then our office, we split it, and it was, as I've been told, the worst she's ever seen. So, all right.
Yeah, it was a pretty.
And that was
only
the July bill, because August is going to come, and that was just as bad.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, it was pretty gnarly summer as far as humidity goes. But again, Great Lakes, we're surrounded by water, so when it's hot, humidity goes through the roof. Still got nothing on Florida.
No, yuck.
No.
Leaves are changing. Not as much up north as I thought they would have, but
there was some color there.
It was nice. Good trip. Fast trip, but good trip.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've just been looking around my house, thinking about all the things that I didn't feel good enough to get done in the summer, and I still don't feel good enough to do it, but don't worry. We'll all be cooped up in the house soon with the snow flying and all the things.
Mm-hmm.
I want to take a walk today. I have not taken a proper walk in 6 weeks. I'd like to do that. Our dog has not taken a proper walk in 6 weeks.
Sure.
Because her stitches came out the day before my surgery.
Mm-hmm.
That poor baby had like one walk that night. Yeah. So she's ready. Poor little girl. Her face still stinks.
Yes, it does.
Makes me nervous.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
I don't want her to stink up a rental house, but I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a house in the woods. I'm pretty sure they're familiar with.
Just like rubber face all over everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's what she does.
Oh, goodness. It's just been a week.
It has been a week.
Michigan won last weekend. They're not playing today. I checked. Lions won last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't double check their time for tomorrow. It's
No
fall,
clue.
man. It's fall.
Yes.
It's the quintessential fall thing. Fall. While it's 80 degrees outside, it's super weird.
Yes.
But
in some years, they've been playing in snow like next week. So it's
gross.
It's just weird. Yeah.
We were talking about having a fire. It's been a minute since we've just sat around a fire outside. It's been a minute.
Yes, it has.
Enjoyed a wedding for a family friend last night. That was very nice.
Yes, it was.
Beautiful weather, outdoor wedding, indoor reception. Gorgeous.
Smidge on the warm side, but other than that, not too bad.
At least there was a breeze.
There was a breeze, and it wasn't crazy humid.
It wasn't raining. I would take what it was over.
Oh no, it was great.
Rain.
I still remember my cousin's wedding, and it was almost triple digits.
Gross.
And it was an outdoor ceremony. And that was rough.
I would always have a contingency plan. My brain just couldn't conceive making people sit in terrible conditions regardless. Yeah. But
then we got inside, and it felt amazing. Yeah.
It was very nice.
It was.
Very tasteful, very pretty. Good to see them. Good to see a few other people that we haven't seen in a long time. Kind of reminded me of how long we've lived here. Not where our current home is. I mean, like downstate.
Yeah.
Because, in particular, the one woman, the older woman that we ran into that I met nearly 15 years ago. We have moved down here. If we realize this, we are just a few weeks shy of 15 years.
Yes.
From moving from northern Michigan. And it wasn't long after that we tried to get involved in the homeschool community in that area. And one of the women that we visited with last night, she was one of the original people that I met.
She's interesting.
Yeah,
she's fun.
It was just a nice conversation and good to see people.
Drive fast, be careless. That was.
Yeah, drive fast, be careless.
Yep.
And
always fun.
Genuinely, she doesn't look like she's aged a day in
No, she looks exactly the same.
The 7 years since I've seen her.
Her husband is a little more hunched.
A little bit more, but he hasn't looked terribly different either.
No.
And these are older individuals.
Yes, they are.
I mean, I got it at least 70s. Yeah. At least.
They're very not young. But yeah, they haven't. It's like, yeah.
I had to stop and think, like, this is, and I know, so true. As she said last night, we all do it. The timeline is COVID.
Yep.
But these are people
the era before COVID, and
these are people we have not seen since we'd moved here, and others since just before COVID, including the family of the daughter that got married. Mm-hmm. So she's our daughter's age, and they grew up, they're friends, spent some time together, and it was just good for them to reconnect a little bit just before she happened to get engaged. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, we've been invited to different things in their family over the years anyway, but
yes,
it's just been,
yeah.
And for one reason or another, we haven't always been able to attend, but we've tried to stay in touch as much as some people do when life gets busy and crazy.
Mm-hmm. And you put a little bit of distance. I mean, it's not like crazy distance, but
if they never come over here.
Yeah, we don't head that way, and they don't head this way, so our paths just don't cross that much.
But yeah, it was good. It was nice.
It was very nice.
That sentimental. Mm-hmm. Your brain just goes. I mean, I think she is our youngest age, like 19. Yeah. Like, and I'm pretty sure he's close to that. Mm-hmm. And the husband, the newlywed, and you're like, "Yep, that could be our daughter." No, wait, no, she's just way too jaded for that. She's
well, for now,
like years of therapy away from that.
Well, let's hope not too far off.
But neither one of them seemed to be, what's the word I'm looking for here? Sappy about it. You know, they didn't. Well, at least our oldest didn't go down the verbally out loud out the path of, "Wish that was me."
Mm-hmm. No.
Because that young lady that got married, her sister is also our oldest daughter's age. Mm-hmm. I think she's just a year younger. So yeah.
Yep.
Two of their 4 children were our daughter's ages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was. It is a little weird. It's like, yeah, they're your age. They're married. When your mom and I were your age.
You were older.
We were married.
And I was younger.
Actually, our youngest is older than you were when we got married.
Correct.
And our oldest is basically the age I was when we got married.
Just. Yeah. Yes. That is correct.
So.
Funny how that works.
Yes, it is.
You start looking at the timeline.
Yeah, not looking too hard. It's fine. It's all good. It's all good.
But it was a good week. Good day.
It was
a good Friday.
A lot going on. Work was a little crazy, and life and stuff and things. And coworker also got married yesterday.
Yeah.
Hope that went well for him. There was a lot of drama there that I'm glad I did no part of.
Drama.
Yeah, it's man, crap bubbles up. It always seems to bubble up.
Well,
but
that's what I get paid to deal with.
It is.
Keep that drama rolling.
I don't get paid enough to deal with that. My job is to fix things that can be.
Fix things. I'd said if I had to do it over, I'd get married in October. It's gorgeous. Would it be an iffy outdoor wedding? Yeah, absolutely. Really, in Michigan, you would have a seriously hard time having the perfect wedding day.
Mm-hmm. Early part of October, probably warm, but could be rainy. Heck, they had a tornado up north not that long ago, like last weekend.
Yeah, I think. Or, well, I don't know if it was a tornado or just that water spout that came in off.
Well, that's a tornado that touches water.
But I don't know if it came out of the water.
No
I
idea.
didn't hear about there being a tornado up north.
No, just not. I have no idea. I didn't see any reports of damage, but there were multiple pictures of the tornado.
It could have been on the water, but not made it off the water.
But any storm that kicks up a tornado's got to be a doozy. They don't just come out of nowhere.
I didn't hear anything about it.
No, I
just saw the picture on Facebook.
Guessing it didn't do much damage.
You showed me the picture.
Yep. I'm guessing it didn't do much damage because it didn't make the news here. So,
yeah,
not that I
don't think so.
Heard about. So, but yeah. So yeah, it's been the what you can never count on the weather in Michigan.
No,
never.
No, just enjoying the decent weather right now. Mm-hmm. And then just trying to keep perspective and the blessings of life and of all the crazy stuff we've been going through and my recovery. I am doing well, and yeah, it's been an interesting couple weeks. But
yes, it has.
Yes. So, when we were talking about topics, you said that you were ready to kind of maybe start something that you'd been contemplating.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be a multi-part.
Entirely possible. Because it's not fully formed. It's an idea. Okay, I've mentioned before that I think in analogies a lot. And a good analogy works on multiple levels. You can do it's like, I would say a crappy analogy works on the surface, but once you dig, it no longer applies. And a good analogy, the deeper you dig, the more you realize it applies in multiple layers and multiple levels. So, it's like, I like good analogies, ones that you can use the analogy to dive deeper into a topic that you're paralleling. And sometimes you got to borrow from other people's things. And that was kind of my idea. Well, all right, let me backtrack to where this rambling idea started. Over the years, there have been people in our lives that, and us too, but I mean more around us than us. People would, you'd see people connected to the hip, and then they'd start, and then life and things, and you'd see them start to distance, and then something happens, and it's like not like a drastic thing happens. Not like a crazy betrayal, where it's just you separate your lives. It's not like one big thing happened, but it's more like the culmination, something that the theoretical straw. It's never the last straw that breaks the camel's back. It's the culmination of all of the straws. And more recently, our daughter's situation with her friend.
Our youngest, a former friend.
That's still hard
to say.
Yeah, and it's
she said she hasn't considered her a real friend in a long time.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, and trying to understand that process of how you go from joined at the hip, like two peas in a pod, match set, to I just can't.
You mean their situation or generality?
Yeah. Well, in generality, but I'm like that one specifically. I mean, without getting into like.
It's never overnight.
Yeah.
It's always through time.
Well,
and it's one bad decision after another.
Mm-hmm. And and then you see other people go through. Hate contrast and compare people's lives thing, but people going through seemingly so much worse, and that relationship doesn't collapse. And trying to understand is like, okay, what is the difference between those two situations?
That's a good point. It's a good question.
And all relationships, it's like some marriages go through. It's like a job loss is a big indicator of pending divorce. Statistically, if a guy suddenly loses his income, it's national statistics. It's just the rate of divorce increases drastically at that point. For illnesses. Like not necessarily like critical acute illnesses, but long-term illnesses.
Yes.
Like the onset, as time progresses, rate of divorce goes up. And But then you see the ones that don't, they come through the other side, they're better than when they got into it. Loss of a child is another huge one.
Yes.
It's like that kind of emotional trauma. It's like some it drives them apart, some it drives them together, and I'm just like, how? It's like like if you see somebody going through that, how can you understand it and potentially help them so they're better at the other side of it? Which, it's like the loss of a kid. It's like you're always damaged, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the relationships surrounding that loss can't become something better in the long run through the process of getting, of living. And like, how, and it's like, so I've spent probably way too much time actually just kind of chewing on that thought. It's like, how do we, what's actually going on? What's the mechanism going on? How is all this come together?
Well, I just actually said that to a client recently. Within the realm of divorce, you have a woman, man, right? Either one. You have your threshold. Mm-hmm. I've seen people come back from infidelity, mm-hmm. personally and professionally.
Oh, yeah.
And live to be very happy mm-hmm. in their marriage. I've seen other people crumble at far less. Mm-hmm. So yes. It is interesting, yes.
Well, and then that's kind of my point. It's like, what's the difference? And I'm trying to, and it's like, I'm not saying I have the answer. I'm saying I'm trying to.
Well, let's back up.
It's like I've watched a lot of people over the years. I've been a people watcher. I'm a people watcher.
So is your youngest.
And the whole the ADHD autism thing. It's like we naturally pick up on patterns that not everybody sees. We kind of sometimes intuitively understand things that I can't explain it. I just understand it. So it's like, and some of the things that we've both read and conversations I've had and different like psychologists and sociologists that I've listened to and classes that I've had and things that I've read, I started kind of taking piecemeal different parts of it. It's like, and kind of, I have a working idea that at least on the surface seems to hold water as a working theory. Okay, functional hypothesis I think is more clinically accurate.
I say, wow, that's a term.
Well, it's like scientific theory is
not the heart.
Is one step below law. Scientific law.
Theory is not the heart and the mind and emotion.
No.
I want to back up to
sure, yes.
the specifics of our daughter's situation. I want to be as clear about this as I can, but not go into the details. When they were young when they started their relationship, and they were both at different parts, and as we all know, right, adolescence sucks in its own way, and
sure,
there was a lot of coming of age stuff, and this young lady had her own familial challenges, and mm-hmm. our daughter had hers, and learning to communicate, learning to process. Our daughter made choices to go into therapy and try to learn better ways to communicate and understand her own emotion, and we've always encouraged communication. Mm-hmm. They were young. Our daughter fell into the trap of the ride or die for your buddy mm-hmm. in a very adolescent relationship, very typical adolescent relationship.
Yeah.
In that, except that, let me say, the lying and the covering up and the things that our daughter became less and less comfortable with and more cognizant that it wasn't okay. Mm-hmm. So let's back up 4 years ago when our daughter's, we're going to say former friend, because that's what our daughter's calling her, made some choices to try to date a young man that her parents were against. And let's just say in the end, she didn't stop dating him. And then through time, our daughter becomes more aware of the fact that she hadn't ever actually like given up on a relationship with this guy. And she didn't like him as it was.
Sure.
She didn't like finding out that she'd been lied to by her friend at the time, that she wasn't supposed to be dating this guy, and that her parents had the reasons and the things. And eventually she saw a Facebook post, or excuse me, like messages and things that explained stuff. But anyway, she found out just how deeply her friend lied to her. Mm-hmm. That was probably the biggest first mark, right? Where it was like, okay, wait, that's not okay. We're supposed to be friends and honest with one another. This wasn't just you like hiding something so that I wouldn't get in trouble. This was, you just outright lied to me. You lied to my family. Not okay. Fast forward, more lies, more cover up, more manipulation of our daughter. And then that young lady gets pregnant for the first time. Mm-hmm. Ends up living with us for a little while.
Yep.
Mind you, our daughter still doesn't care for the young man and the way he talks to her, the way he treated her. Didn't care for the way the whole thing had gone down, but never really had a chance to process any of it. In the time frame that the young lady lived here, I had her permission and I was part of a session with her and her counselor. She was seeing a therapist when she started to live here. He felt like he said, like, she's, quote, too young. And I understood that because I was an intern at the time. I was like, yep, too young to be diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, but I think that's what you're experiencing. And he gave her resources and he gave her an assessment and he wanted to educate her and really get her more specific therapy for it. Well, then eventually she blew off that therapist and that went nowhere. Moves out from us, moves in with her boyfriend, has her first child, and then ended up getting pregnant not long after that. She had her first child, getting pregnant again. Mm-hmm. So, and is supposed to be getting married tomorrow, as far as we know, unless that's changed. But regardless,
doubtful.
Kind of nail in the coffin was another situation that just brought up the idea that our daughter had been lied to. Again, very significant lies, manipulation, and she reached her breaking point. We have been talking on and off for the last 2 years about the significance of borderline personality disorder. We have it in our family, like your cousin has done inpatient treatment a few times and has talked to me about it and educated me a while ago. I have been studying it a little bit more. I've been encountering it a little bit more and with my clients, like supporting individuals that have people in their life, not necessarily my clients that have it, but people in their life that do. So I knew, our daughter knew. She reached a point where it was hard to say, I don't know how to support my friend with this mental illness, but she's not trying to support herself. And it was not an easy choice for our daughter to say, I just can't do this anymore. I can't watch my friend explode her life. I mean, real serious dumpster fire stuff. But it's her choice, and it's always been her choice. And that young lady is even aware of it, and she's admitted it. But it's not okay to take people down around you. So that situation, I mean, this was a ride or die. Now, where's the threshold? I'm proud of our daughter for saying, I'm not okay lying for her. I'm not okay being lied to. I'm not okay being manipulated. But unfortunately, the cost of that, it's a friendship really she has said she hasn't had in like 2 years, which is true. It didn't just significantly change because she was pregnant and lived here. It was already happening. It was already crumbling. I think it was delayed. I think the situation became more complicated and it was delayed. But I'm proud of our daughter for that choice. So if you're talking about somebody in a situation that, there's this close relationship, even for instance, like what I was saying about the infidelity, that's a significant trust that's just obliterated.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter what the particular details of something is, when trust isn't there, I mean, what's the foundation of a relationship? If you can't rely on the foundation, that's a problem. Now, a marital vow is different than just the typical friendship. But these young ladies grew up together. Of course, it was awkward and weird to talk about the segregation. We were just talking about it minutes before we started recording. But, I mean, going to that wedding and seeing that, and then knowing that we're not going to that wedding tomorrow, and that wedding that's happening tomorrow is nowhere near the beautiful ceremony that we saw, or going to be nowhere near the beautiful ceremony that we saw yesterday. In essence, this young lady had said, our daughter's former friend, I don't love him. I barely like him. I mean, I'm quoting now. I don't love him. I don't really like him. I don't want to marry him. My family's bullying me into it. That's a quote. And she said it more than once. So, how can you just stand by? How? I liken this situation with my friend. We've talked a little bit about. Serious close friend, 20 years. She cheated on her husband. She lied to my face, and she cheated on her. When I called her out, I asked her, and she did eventually come clean, admitted it. We talked about it after she left her, after her husband had found out, and she left him, and they've been since divorced for a few years now. But it did take me a minute to forgive her and move past that as much as I could. Now I say that because how close can you be with someone? This is out of respect for you. This is out of respect for our marriage. You want to be careful. You want to be careful who you have in your life that doesn't have your ideals. Mm-hmm. I am a grown adult, and I struggled with that. So I am proud of our daughter for making the choice that she did when she did at 19 years old. Because it's about who to have in your life. It's about reconciliation. It's about the intentionality of somebody's apology, somebody's just their willingness to change. There's so many factors to what you're talking about that it's not simple. It's not simple at all. And there's so many ways to take it. I was talking with a client yesterday. He's never hit her, but he sure is horrible to her. And she tries to find a way to just keep going. They've got kids. I made a vow. What do you say to that? To somebody that I'm sitting in front of the spouse that's being talked to horribly, and she's trying, and he'll be terrible but say he's sorry, and he'll be terrible and he say he's sorry, and he'll be terrible and he'll say he's sorry. And he's also horrible to their children. And now their children are repeating the things, and they're becoming more and more aware as they get older. I've been seeing this particular client for a while, and the stages of it. Just talking with her about how to just lean into the Lord, to continue to defend her children, to try to educate them the right way to talk to one another, apologize even. We've talked about that, how hard it is to even apologize for their dad. Because he's not actually apologizing to them.
No. Well, all right.
So you're talking about it's not a clean cut situation. What you're talking about?
No.
Or answer, excuse me, clean cut solution answer to what you're talking about.
No. I would say in that situation, remind her that he made vows too, and he's obviously not living up to them. And an apology,
not simple.
An apology without change is manipulation.
Fair enough.
Typically, Christian.
I've had 2 wives in a week in that situation.
Christian wedding, standard Christian vows. Love, honor, cherish. That's not loving, that's not honoring, and that's not cherishing.
Oh, I'm aware.
That was your,
I'm
that was your
aware.
vow.
So was she.
So
were they.
That was your vow.
Because I have 2 clients that were in a similar situation this week.
But anyway.
But thank you for that. Thank you for your input with that. But do you understand with what I'm saying and all these examples that I've given? I did want to provide an actual explanation on our daughter, but for context. But can you see what I'm saying about the different examples?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Sure.
I'm sorry, are you thinking?
Trying to remember where I was. Yeah. Well, anyway.
To be fair, you haven't slept much.
This is true. But I was back to where I was. If you're in a relationship with anybody, I would suggest, and I'm going to guess that you would also not be opposed to suggesting to people, read the 5 love languages. There's concepts in there that, the short version of that is there's 5 fundamental ways that people give and receive affection. And if I'm not going to get into them. Read the book, or we could maybe.
You could say them.
Well, but I want to get through it quick. But let's just say if you are a person who receives love in a type A, and acts of service, like you feel the most love when people are doing for you, even if it simple thing. Making coffee for somebody and bringing them a cup of coffee in the morning. It's like that makes you feel loved. That puts a little bit of gas in your love tank. And they refer to as a tank. It's like that, or a love bank, or like a piggy bank. Every little act of love that you receive puts a little bit more in the tank, and then throughout the day things deplete that tank, and if you're an act of service kind of person, that's how you're going to gravitate towards showing affection. And if you're a physical touch type of person, the act of service, it's not that you don't feel loved, it's just that's not how you're hardwired to receive it. Like always touching the arm and rubbing the hair and just peck on the cheek, just those little small moments fill your tank. But if that's not what fills your partner's tank, you're speaking the wrong language and they're not hearing what you're saying. At least they might get the gist, but it's like putting gas in a diesel. It's like, yeah, you're trying to fill the tank, but it's not really what it needs. It's like that kind of concept, but in a more general term, not like specific to the just affection. That kind of idea of, it's like you have a reserve, you have a tank of emotional energy, let's say. This is the kind of idea that I had. It's like every interaction with other people expends a certain amount of emotional energy. And we've all had days where you're just emotionally drained and one more thing and you're just going to lose your crap. Even if it's nothing, it's like the dog won't leave you alone, but you don't have the emotional energy left to deal with that. And you just lose your crap. Figuratively speaking. And like certain interactions with people, it's like add to the tank.
Yeah.
And other interactions deplete the tank. And to varying degrees. Like, stranger at the gas station, you open the door for him. It's like that. That's a very minor expense of emotional energy. Dealing with a bill collector on the phone, if you've ever had that experience. Massive amount of emotional energy expended and nothing coming back to you. And everybody has a different size tank. And it's always at a differing level depending on what's going on in your life. And the closer the person, an individual is, the more drastically they can affect the balance in that tank. Like, this is the idea that's going through my head. And I kind of had the idea of, like, you got two people that are walking together through life. You're close. You have the ability to fill and drain that tank very quickly, which any close relationship, you kind of are giving that individual not only the opportunity, but the permission to access the tank very quickly. That's why the people, nobody can tick you off faster or hurt your feelings more than your spouse.
That's fair.
Because if you're truly open to them, you for everybody else in the world, there's walls, but for you have a key to the front door. So anything that hurts, you're not hitting the armor on that attack, figuratively speaking, isn't hitting a wall. Isn't hitting the armored wall. It's going straight into the. It's already in the gates. Which is why those close relate. It's like they're in a position to hurt you, and you've given them the opportunity to hurt you. So, like, not saying that it's intentional or any of that crap. Just so those kind of emotional interactions can fill the tank. And if you got two people that are taking care of each other, even though, like, me interacting with you costs me a little bit of emotional energy, just because everything does.
Everything does.
But if we're in a healthy place, your interaction with me costs you a little bit of energy, and my interaction with you costs a little bit of energy, but we're getting more than what we're spending in return. Even if it's not necessarily a good thing that we're going through, just, that it's kind of force multiplication. It's like
fair.
Two people can do the work of three. It's an old. It's like one person can do the work of one person, two people can do the work of three people, three people can do the work of five people, 7 people can do the work of 3 people.
Something like that.
Yeah, you hit a point where it's massively diminishing returns, but that's neither here nor there. So, it's like a healthy relationship is give and take. And then sometimes bad things happen. And they drastically affect one person more than another. Chronic illness, for instance. Mm-hmm. This one's really personal.
So you might know about
understand this one really well. Your chronic illness will never physically affect me as much as it affects you.
It's true, yeah.
So there's those times where just statistically your tank is running really low just because. It's like that emotional energy is expended just dealing with life. As your partner, I will burn some of my tank to help keep yours topped off, to help you get through the day. I kind of had a mental image when that was, you're kind of borrowing, siphoning out of my tank to keep your engine running. Again, metaphorically speaking.
Yep, I'll go with you on that. Not like symbiosis or something.
No, but I mean, it's quite literally. Okay, I had, like I said, I had this mental
I've
image.
got my little venom.
Yes.
What do they call that? Pop.
Symbiote. Yeah, the Funko Pop.
There we go. Yeah.
Anyway, I had this mental illness, not mental illness, mental image. Wow, there we go. Anyway,
you said it. I didn't.
Anyway, so I had this mental image, like, it's like we've gone swimming. Most people can swim.
Yeah.
Even I don't swim great, but I can swim. I'm never winning races, but I'll make it to shore. But if you're out there and you're doing fine and then suddenly you're not, ideally, lifeguard shows up and lends you his ability to swim to get you to shore.
Okay.
You're using your energy, but you're out. So you're relying on somebody else's. There's a lot of stories regarding the lifeguard thing. So this is only partially a good, like I say, it's not a great analogy, which is why I'm not leaning on this one too hard, but it does kind of get the point across. It's like sometimes you're in a place where you need that somebody else. It's like you got nothing left to give. You got nothing in the tank. You're not going to get through the next 5 seconds without somebody else grabbing you and pulling you along. Which is perfectly understandable, perfectly healthy, depending on the life that's, because life happens. And ideally, the people in we speak a lot about marriage because we're married and haven't lived single in a really long time. So it's ideally, your partner in that moment is your lifeguard. You borrow their, in the analogy, their ability to swim, but it's like you're
talking about a healthy relationship.
Yes, a healthy relationship. Where in that moment, it's like you don't have anything left to give. I'll burn what I've got to help get you through that next moment. Or
you started it with the idea that there's a desire to want to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that it's a mutual filling of the tank.
It's effectively being in using that same kind of swimming thing. It's each other helping each other stay afloat.
When something's askew within a relationship,
well, and
the rest of it's not necessarily going to go that way.
Well, this is true. And it's almost never balanced. That whole, people say it's 50-50, and it's never 50-50.
No.
It's never 50-50.
I have definitely cost more.
Some, there are, it's like, it's 100-100. It's like you both give everything you got all the time. Now, what you have, your 100% today might have been yesterday's 20%. But if all fair. You've got is 20% and you give it all, you gave 100%.
That's fair.
But in the whole totality of, doing things, it's like sometimes in one instance it's 60-40, it might be 95-5. It's our 100%. And as long as it's back and forth, it's like, it's okay, right now your tank is draining, here's some of mine. Okay, now my tank is draining, here's some of yours. That give and take. And then there are times where there's seasons where your tank is not refilling on its own. You're running off of my tank. Again, not using us as an example, not necessarily that this is the exact case, but there was another mental idea I had was anybody that's familiar with motorcycles, especially older motorcycles, where they had a tank that's kind of shaped, if you cut it cross section, it's kind of a upside down horseshoe where the prong's pointed down and it sits over the backbone. And it's full of fuel. When it gets to a certain point, the hump in the middle separates the two tanks. And you got you typically refer to as primary and reserve tank. Well, it's not a reserve tank. It's all the same tank, but you don't have access to it until you flip a switch. Open a valve. Anyway, it's not that it wasn't there. It was just that little bit that you don't usually use until you absolutely have to. I think for the most part we have that. That's why we can not explode or collapse when things are going bad. We've got that little bit left in those moments. Yeah. But then sometimes it's your partner is your reserve tank. And you open that valve and you start draining their tank to get through. Which, in a healthy relationship, that's not a taking, that's a giving. It's like, you're not taking that out of my tank. I'm giving it to you to use. Now, that's why it's like, okay, there's it's a Jordan Peterson quote, and I'm not sure where he got it from, but it's like, your goal is to be the strongest person at your father's funeral.
Explain that.
Well, it's like in a relationship, sometimes it's like your job is to be the strongest one of the two. It's like we can't both be losing it. And right now I've got enough to be able to stand straight so you can lean on me.
Okay.
Makes sense.
But not necessarily burying it, ignoring it.
No, not at all. Again, in a healthy way. Now, in a healthy way, that balance, it's like and in that reliance, being, knowing that you can rely on that, helps refill your tank, helps patch any leaks that are in there, helps put it back into your system, and in doing so, you put it back into mine. So in that way, even though it's like, we're both getting emotionally drained right now. But in the process, we're relying on each other and filling each other's tank.
Okay.
And again, this is all... It's a rough idea. This isn't fully formed yet. I'm still working it out as I speak. So... And again, that's the healthy idea. It's like give and take, voluntarily, willingly, usually happily.
Well, and earlier you were saying, like, how can somebody go from, like, being attached at the hip to not?
And that's
You're talking, it seems like you're talking more about, like, romantic relationship.
Well, and no, I think it's, I think that's the pinnacle. That really close relationship, that's the pinnacle. And in a healthy way, you're constantly topping each other's tank off, even though every interaction, I think, with another human being takes some of the gas out of the tank. And the more pleasant the interaction, the less it is. The more traumatic, difficult, the more it takes. Which is why I think people get emotionally. It's a bad day. Everything's going wrong. Work sucks. Your boss is yelling at you. You screwed up royally, and you emotionally can't handle one more thing. It's because all of those interactions sucked a little bit out of your tank.
Yeah, that's usually how that works.
And then ideally you go home and you
like
interact
the country song.
Yeah, and you interact with the people that you love and that you and they love you, and it's like, okay, you know what, we're going to get through this, and your tank gets filled back up. Again, that's a healthy thing. It's a healthy life isn't always healthy. Life isn't always pleasant, and all of those every interaction has a cost. I don't think admittedly, it could be a net positive. It's like our interactions with each other should be individually net positives. It's like, even though dealing with me has an emotional cost, me dealing with you has some emotional cost. But in that spending of that cost, we get benefit, like dividends for a stock. It's like you get paid back more than what you gave in a healthy relationship.
I'm a dividend.
Sure, it's like you get interest.
Thanks, honey.
Paid back with interest. So in that expending of that energy, you have a net positive. And then something happens. And the healthiness of that relationship either isn't as healthy, or it was never there in the first place. Mm. And those interactions, you spend that cost, but the return's not there. Which happens. And so, I think in the perfect world, in the perfect relationship, there are times where you spend that cost and you don't get it back. It's like sometimes you can do everything right and still lose. It's like just because life is life, people are people, and sometimes it's like you give a little and it's taken, and you don't get that return on investment. And I don't want it sounds really transactional, and I want it to be more metaphorical and metaphysical than
transactional.
Than actually transactional. But it's like to try and get that, every time you interact with somebody, there's a little
feel like a transaction with you, but I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, that's the goal. You don't want to feel like that, but and I think that's where it starts. It's like you start getting those no returns, and you're not getting back what it might be. You're only getting back as much as you're given in this certain situation, and so your tank slowly depletes, but it's not getting filled back up by that relationship. So now you're not running at peak. So you're emotionally not as full and healthy as you could be. And then over time, it gets a little less healthy, and now you're not breaking even.
Got it.
And then another interaction, it's like, and at some point, like with the lifeguard, it's like one person out there in trouble, and you swim out there, you expend a bunch of energy, and you get them to shore. You had all that energy to go because you were prepped and ready to go. Oh, look, there's another person. And now it's going to take more, it's like you have less total energy because you just burned up a lot dragging somebody to shore. Now you got to go out there again. And you drag them to shore, and you're huffing and puffing, and you barely got anything left. And like, oh no, there's another person.
There's another one. There's another one.
And then there's another one. And at some point, you both drown. Because you don't have anything left to pull that into shore, and you don't have enough energy to even keep yourself afloat. And I think it's that I think that's why in a lot of cases it's a low, slow burn between tied at the hip to washing your hands.
Oh, very.
It's
a very slippery slope.
I mean, in some cases...
What's the song? Casting Crowns? It's a slow fade.
Could be, yeah, and now it could be a really big thing, just completely punctures the tank, and it's like I got that, and severs that shared fuel line, that reserve tank. It's like when we're interacting, we open the valve and we feed each other, and after a while, you just start siphoning it off and not giving back. It's like you put in that check valve, so I'm not getting back. Maybe you got back occasionally. You get that little bit. You get that snippet.
We've been there.
That manipulative kind of behavior. It's like you get that little bit back. Just enough to keep you from running completely dry. And I think that's kind of where that's where I was like, okay, now where do I go with it? There's that, I've got that rough idea. How do I take that deeper? Because I think the idea is relatively simple, but then what do you do about it? Well, there's a lot of times I have really good ideas and then go, and then what?
What do you mean though? What do you want to do with it?
Well, I mean, like a lot of it's like, what's the answer? It's like there's a lot of times it's going to be out of your control.
Well, gosh, if you had that answer, there wouldn't be like therapists or.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Like. Everything would be perfect and wonderful.
Exactly, that's the goal. It was like okay, it's in a lot of cases like I'm a maintenance mechanic. The ultimate goal is to never need me. Life insurance, everybody. The ultimate goal is to never need it. Health insurance, the ultimate goal is to never need it. Sure. Doctors, the ultimate goal, never need it. Goal. Fire department, ultimate goal, never need it. Same thing with, I think, with counselors and psychologists and and tow truck drivers, and the ultimate goal is to never need them. The reality is we do, because things aren't perfect, and they're never going to be perfect. But like, it was a long, slow burn for our daughter, where every interaction she was left with, it's like, you spend time with your friends, and even though it's like you're exhausted, you're physically exhausted because you've been up for the last 30 hours laughing your head off and doing dumb crap. But emotionally, it's like you could go for another couple of days. It's like those good friends, like growing up, like going over to my buddy's house, and we'd be up all freaking night long playing video games. Quite literally handing the controller back and forth on the Nintendo. Just grinding out a game and just having a blast doing it. And yeah, we were dead to the world, but it's like it was the best time. You never felt more alive. I was like, and then something happens, and that interaction, you're no longer getting topped off. Not that it's like, I don't even think it's necessarily the this is where it's like I have a really hard time picturing it. It's not like it was like we're interacting with each other. Little bit of cost. Ideally, it's minuscule. It's a droplet. It's very small amount of cost for interacting with each other. And what we get back is so much more. Well, where's that coming from? Because it's not actually coming from you. I mean, it is and isn't, I guess, but it's like that dividend isn't coming directly from you, because I'm getting more than what you're spending. Filling the top of the tank off. It's like you're giving a little bit and I'm getting a lot. And ideally, I'm giving a little bit and you're getting a lot. That you're spending a penny and getting $1. Where's that dollar coming from?
It has to come from somewhere.
It does have to come from somewhere.
It has to come from the dividends.
It's the dividends. But usually, anyway, it's the dividend. But when you get to a point where the cost is getting higher, or at least, I think cost is a good one. Where it becomes, instead of an investment, it becomes a cost. It's like you invest in people you care about. And then at some point, because of whatever's going on, it stops being an investment, and now you're just putting money into it. And then it's a cost. It's like this is a net loss every time. And then at some point, you get to a point where you've only got your reserve tank. You've got almost nothing left, and it's going to cost you everything you've got left just to interact with this person one more time. And then everything falls apart because you don't have it to spend. And I think that's where our daughter got.
Yeah.
It was that it's like every interaction had a cost and the dividend didn't show up. And I think that dividend isn't necessarily like I say, it's not a direct taking, it's like it's not coming from directly from you. I think in part it's more about accepting it and being grateful pays the dividend, and having the desire to not actually be that cost.
Mm. Well, that's fair.
And I mean, and I think that's also why sometimes you can go through really rough times and be okay on the other side of it. It's like, yeah, you know what, right now, huge amount of cost going through this. Surgeries, illnesses, death in the family, job losses, Because, let's be honest, we've been through all of that.
We have.
And it hit us each differently, but it did both hit us. Mm-hmm. And we're okay on the other side of it. We're good on the other side of it. For the most part, yeah. Mm-hmm. And and it's like there were times where I guarantee both of us were. There was a cost, and there was no dividend. Because you're just pouring out. And
we were there. We've talked a little bit about that. You were pretty rough. It was a long time ago, but there was a period of time, about 10 years into our marriage, that was rough. You weren't exactly the best at processing and communicating.
We've been down here for a decade and a half. Mm-hmm. And it was before we moved.
Oh, yeah.
So it was well over. It was almost 2 decades now.
I know. I wasn't pinpointing it. I said 10 years into our marriage. So if you would like the math on that,
a while
we've
been
ago. Married 28 years.
It was a while ago. But anyway, but at some point, it wasn't the I'm just taking. It was we're keeping each other afloat.
Eventually we got there, yeah.
And you also have that support team. You know, you got other people in your family around you. You got your friends around you that are also pouring into your tank. That's why it's never good to be alone. Like I said, it's not a fully formed concept. I mean, I have the idea. I'm still organizing it. I'm still
need a minute to kind of
still picturing it, still trying to put it all together. But I feel like there's something there. And then I feel like there's something there and I should do something with it, but I'm not sure what. I guess this is the first part of doing something with it, I guess.
It sounds like it, yeah.
But still trying to... It's still clunky. It's not an elegant concept, and I'm not articulating it very well. So I'm still working on that. But yeah, that's the idea. That's kind of the, like, trying to figure out. I mean, you can see, like, you watch relationships fall apart from the outside, and you can pinpoint moments often that are like, well, this is one piece, and this is another piece, and this is another piece, and this is another piece, and boom, and then it collapses. But you can see those exact same things from other people in other situations, and they're fine. And similar people, similar personalities, similar, situations. Different, of course, because there's no such thing as identical, but okay, they made it, but they didn't.
I think there's part of it, again, you're going to come back to the intentionality of the repair and restoration
and I think that's,
of a relationship.
I think that's part of it. And
when the willingness of both parties to allow for it, to desire it.
And
can you reach a point of no return? Absolutely.
Sure. Well, and you know what?
And I mean in any instance, any relationship, any issue.
Well, I think I'd be fairly comfortable saying you can always return. But the situation has to be different. You have, I mean, you've said it. It's like we've seen people, their marriages have recovered from infidelity, and they became something so much more than what they were before.
And that was not like overnight.
No.
They were not the same people when it was done.
No. Because you can't be. Because the people you were before led to the infidelity. You have to become somebody new.
And then we've known people that have stayed together and it was hollow.
Yeah. And it's just miserable for everybody involved. But so, I mean, there's always a way back. But the way back is... it's like the individuals involved have to grow beyond what was there before. That you can't learn to swim while you're still holding your anchor.
There's a whole lot of kind of like spiritual context to it, and I'm not going to get into all of that now.
Well,
we need to
very,
wrap up, but
very simplistic. It's like, but it's...
Yes, I do. I do actually believe there can be the point of no return if that's disingenuous apology.
Yeah.
Not actual ownership.
That's not reconciliation. That's manipulation.
If you were the one that was receiving the abuse, if you were the one that was cheated on, I do believe there is that. I mean, again, it's between you and God, but that decision to not.
No, I'm not saying that you can't. In that situation, especially, you can choose never going down that path again and be perfectly healthy and perfectly justified, not saying otherwise. I'm saying that if the people involved both choose...
In our case, we are better than we were before.
Yeah. Well, and I mean...
It took a minute, but we got there.
Yep.
And we're better now than we ever have been.
But what I'm saying is people in those unhealthy situations can become healthier.
They can. That's a choice.
And then choose to not go back to where they were, but to figure out where they can go from here. So it's like, in a manner of speaking, there's a point of no return where this can't be anymore. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the relationship has to end. It just has to become what it should have been in the first place. And they both have to choose to go there. And it was perfectly valid.
That's fair.
To never want to go down that road again. Not gonna.
And when you've experienced certain hurts, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I'm not. And again, it's like there's all kinds of physical and mental and emotional abuse and all of that. Not saying that I'm even advocating that you try to fix that relationship. I'm just saying I'm comfortable saying that that relationship can be if.
The if.
And it's a big if. Because I've seen it. I mean, we've both seen it. Mm-hmm. We've seen absolutely catastrophically horrible situations. And things just completely collapse. And then down the road, they both became something different. And a better version of themselves. And then they created something new. It's like, not saying you have to.
Like us.
I'm just saying it's possible.
We did it.
But anyway, there's that. Anyway,
I don't think this needs to be a two-parter unless you.
It's
process it and need to bring it up again later.
Still chewing.
All right. Well.
Still chewing. Still trying to.
So that's trying to talk about it later.
It's one of the try to make it more coherent. Had a really hard time making that come out.
Coherent.
And smoother delivery, more coherent, and like there's still a lot of edges that are really rough that I need to figure out.
I think you're onto something that's just deep, and that tends to be how you think. It's not simple.
No,
and you're tired.
And when you're dealing with people, when you're talking emotions and people and all of that, it's never simple. There's so much complexity when people are involved.
And that's why I wouldn't speak for a daughter that, let's just say that former friend chose to get help and there was real repentance and work toward her own personal growth and mental health, that our daughter wouldn't see that. But unfortunately, that's just not the position.
Yeah. Well,
and that's her choice. That would be our daughter's choice, what to do with that.
Well, I think final thought on this theory, this hypothesis, this concept that I'm dealing with.
That falls in line with like a couple infidelity, right? So
sure.
we're talking about friendship. And I went through that. It was kind of on me to figure out how I wanted to proceed with my friend. And we are still close. I mean, not as close as we were, but you don't go back.
Yeah. Well, but
you can do your best to move forward if you're going to maintain a relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's just say the wall is no longer down in that relationship. Like the drawbridge is up.
With our daughter?
No, with that friend.
Oh.
The drawbridge is up.
Well, maybe you.
The drawbridge is up.
I'd say that's not me, but I know we view that differently.
Yeah,
but I try to honor and respect your concern.
Yeah, the drawbridge is up and the guards have been notified. Anyway, but no, honestly, to carry on the idea, like at some point your tank's empty, and then instead of taking emotional energy, it starts taking life.
Yeah.
Because it's got to come from somewhere.
I see that, unfortunately, in my job too often.
And when you hit that point, you've got to do what you have to do to save your life. I mean, possibly metaphorically, but also, I think, unfortunately, far too literally. Or far too often, literally. And you get to that point, you have to make a call. And people might not understand it. People might not like it. People might judge it. At least one of the parties involved is definitely going to be hurt. But, there's no point in putting a Band-Aid on somebody else while you're bleeding out.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Sounds a little harsh. Sounds a little kind of a...
No, it's true, though.
Kind of a downer. Yeah.
I know, right? I mean, geez. But sometimes the way you think, that's just how this ends up. It's deep and it's like a lot and sometimes it's gloomy.
It is. But unfortunately that's all too often part of life.
So.
Well, and like I said, the idea is, it's like, man, if you can mentally picture it, and kind of see it in that light, then you can focus on making sure that you're feeding the right people and getting fed in return.
That's fair.
I think that's kind of my... To sum up, it's like just to understand it better. And maybe help understand where somebody else is coming from. Be a little less judgy. A little more understanding.
A little less judgy.
Just saying. Just, putting that out there.
That's fair.
So that's the end of this one, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
I'll shut up now.
Okay. Okay.
And one more thing. Yeah. If I could do a Columbo, I would love to do it. I can't do that voice.
So old.
Yeah. Just one more thing, sir. Just one more question.
Good job. See? Yeah, you tried.
Yeah. Yeah. Peter Falk. He's the man. Anyway. With that, we'll say goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Fix It.
I'm Feel It.
We hope you join us in the future.
Until next week.
Y'all have a great one.